The world knows Yaman as the confident, magnetic actor who took Turkey, Italy, and beyond by storm. But behind the fame, behind the carefully staged red carpets and glossy magazine covers, lies a man who, for years, carried a truth he rarely shared. And now, in 2025, Ken has broken his silence. His words, "This is my life," have stunned millions, revealing a side of him that fans had only guessed at. From the beginning of his career, Yaman seemed destined for greatness. Born in Istanbul, raised in a family that valued education and discipline, he trained as a lawyer before turning to acting. His breakout role in Erkenci Kuş launched him into international fame, pairing him with Demet Özdemir in a romance that blurred the lines between fiction and reality. Soon, his face was everywhere: billboards in Rome, posters in Madrid, headlines in Germany. But with fame came expectations, rumors, and pressures that few could endure. For years, Ken smiled through it all. He posed for cameras, charmed interviewers, and embraced his growing audience. Yet beneath the surface, questions lingered. Who was he really? Did he love Demet as much as fans believed? Why did he keep so much of his life private? And most importantly, was he happy? The answer finally came in a confession that no one expected. In an interview that has since gone viral, Ken sat down, looked into the camera, and simply said, "This is my life. And for too long, I have allowed others to define it." Those words shook his fanbase to the core. They weren't just a statement, they were a declaration of independence, a reminder that even global stars are human beings fighting for their truth. Ken explained that for years, he had felt trapped between two worlds. On one side was the glamorous public image, the heartthrob adored by millions, the star who could do no wrong. On the other was the private man who longed for simplicity, for authenticity, for love that wasn't clouded by rumors. He admitted that the pressure nearly broke him at times. "People think being admired is easy," he said. "But admiration can feel like a prison when you are not allowed to be yourself." Perhaps the most emotional part of his confession was when he spoke about love. Without naming names, he acknowledged that there had been a woman who meant everything to him, someone he could never fully share with the world. "Some loves are not for the cameras," he said softly. "Some are for the soul." Instantly, fans connected his words to Demet Özdemir. For years, their supposed romance had dominated headlines. And though neither ever fully confirmed it, Ken's statement felt like the closest he had ever come to admitting the truth. But Ken didn't stop there. He also spoke about the loneliness of success. "People see the lights, the fame, the money," he explained. "They don't see the nights when you're alone, questioning if any of it is real. They don't see the sacrifices." He confessed that he had lost friends along the way, distanced himself from people he once loved, all in the name of protecting his career. And yet, despite all the success, he often wondered if it was worth it. What made this confession so powerful was its rawness. Ken didn't sugarcoat his words. He admitted to mistakes. He acknowledged that sometimes he had let pride or anger get the better of him. He even addressed the criticism he often receives online. "Yes, I am not perfect," he said. "Yes, I have made choices that not everyone agrees with. But at the end of the day, I am still human. And this is my life." The reaction was immediate. Social media exploded with messages of support. Fans praised his courage. Many said they had tears in their eyes listening to him. Hashtags like #ThisIsMyLife and #WeStandWithKen trended worldwide. Even critics admitted that this level of honesty was rare in a world where celebrities often hide behind carefully scripted answers. Demet Özdemir, though silent on the matter, became a central figure in the conversation. Fans speculated about her reaction, some even claiming she had liked subtle posts on social media hinting at support. Whether true or not, the narrative of Ken and Demet was reignited once again, proving that their story still holds the world captive. But beyond love and relationships, Ken's confession was about something bigger, reclaiming his identity. For too long, he had been defined by others, by fans, by the press, by producers who saw him only as a marketable face. By saying "this is my life," Can took back control. He declared that from now on, he would choose projects not for fame but for passion. That he would live privately when he wanted, and publicly only on his own terms. The industry has already begun to shift in response. Directors and producers are rushing to work with him, not just because of his star power, but because his authenticity has made him even more compelling. Rumors suggest that he may soon take on a project unlike anything he has done before, something deeply personal, perhaps even autobiographical. What makes this moment unforgettable is how universal it feels. Yaman's confession isn't just about him. It's about anyone who has ever felt trapped by expectations, anyone who has struggled to balance who they are with who the world wants them to be. That's why his words resonate so deeply. They remind us that even our idols are human beings searching for peace. As 2025 unfolds, one thing is clear: Yaman has entered a new chapter. He is no longer just the heartthrob actor. He is a man unafraid to share his truth, unafraid to be vulnerable, unafraid to say, "This is my life." And that honesty, more than any role, more than any scripted romance, is what makes him unforgettable. Fans will continue to speculate, of course. They will continue to hope for reunions, for love stories, for dramas played out in real life. But perhaps Cannes' greatest lesson is that true strength lies not in giving the world what it demands, but in living authentically, even when it shocks everyone. And so, the world watches. Stunned, moved, inspired. Because Yaman has reminded us all of something simple, yet profound: life is too short to live for others. At the end of the day, it belongs to you. And for him, it was finally time to say it out loud: "This is my life." But perhaps the most surprising element of Cannes' confession was how it resonated far beyond his usual fanbase. Newspapers that once covered him only for scandals now praised his bravery. Mental health advocates applauded him for speaking openly about loneliness, sacrifice, and the hidden costs of fame. Even other celebrities, usually silent on his personal life, began to show support. Several actors and singers reposted his words, reminding the world that behind every glamorous life is a story of struggle and survival. What stood out most, however, was the contrast between Cannes' past image and his present honesty. For years, he had been seen as untouchable, confident, fearless, always in control. This new version of him, admitting vulnerability, admitting doubt, felt revolutionary. Fans who had admired him for his strength now found a deeper reason to love him: his humanity. "He's finally one of us," one fan tweeted. "Not just a star, but a man who feels like we do." There were also whispers of reconciliation, between Cannes and his past, between Cannes and those who once felt shut out. Industry insiders say that his confession could pave the way for repaired friendships and even old romances finding new light. After all, by admitting his flaws, he opened the door to forgiveness, both from himself and from others. And yet, the question remains: what comes next? If this was only the beginning of Yaman's new life, what stories remain untold? Will he reveal more about the mysterious woman he once loved so deeply? Will he finally address the rumors surrounding Demet Özdemir directly? Or will he, for the first time, truly separate his personal life from his career and let the world see only what he chooses to share? What cannot be denied is the power of that simple phrase: "This is my life." It is more than a confession. It is a manifesto. A reminder that even in a world dominated by cameras and headlines, every individual has the right to live on their own terms. For Cannes, it may mark the beginning of the most authentic and powerful chapter of his career. For his fans, it is a lesson in courage, resilience, and the importance of choosing honesty over perfection. The world is still stunned, still talking, still watching. And perhaps that's exactly how Cannes wants it. Because while the details of his future remain a mystery, one truth has never been clearer: this is his life, and he's finally ready to live it fully.